أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا
eh ko da na manta na bar ma ya kamata kana da tishu a nan ka san nan kamar yadda muhammad ya ce nan ya zama collective office din mu a ainihi yanzu ruwan sanyi ma ba na son sha.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us yet another opportunity to continue our study session. In this our Aqidah session, and we're studying Uthool Thalatha of Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab bin Sulaiman al-Najdi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him. This inshallah is going to be our 15th lesson. Today being the 4th day in the month of Sha'ban, 1441 after the historic hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is equivalent to the 29th day in the month of March 2020, the Christian era. Inshallah, we will continue from where we stopped last week. For those of our students that have the kitab, our book still remains the commentary, the sharhi of Uthool Thalatha by Sheikh Fawzan bin Fawzan Hafidhahullah. We are on page 20 in our old book, and I think page 21 or 22 in the new book for the students that are following. Sheikh says, after telling us what it entails to be patient and what patience entails, as we learned from our last class, today inshallah we're going to continue and we're going to comment on the statement of Imam Shafi'i that Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab referenced in his kitab. قوله, يعني the statement of Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab al-Shafi'i, يعني referencing Imam Shafi'i. Who is Imam Shafi'i? هو الإمام محمد بن إدريس الشافعي نسبة إلى جده الرابع اسمه شافع. He is none other than Muhammad ibn Idris الشافعي نسبة إلى جده, يعني he got this name Al-Shafi'i from his fourth grandfather. Ismuhu, whose name was Al-Shafi'i, Shafi'i. وهو من قريش, he is from Quraysh. من بني المطلب, from بني المطلب. توفي سنة 204. He died 204 after Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وهو أحد الأئمة الأربعة. وهو أحد الأئمة الأربعة. And is one of the four great imams whose schools of thought have become dominant schools of thought in the world. We have the school of thought of the Hanafi school of thought of Nu'man bin Thabit. We have the Maliki school of thought of Malik bin Anas. We have the Shafi'i school of thought of Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i. We have the Hanbali school of thought of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Imam Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And we have the fourth one, though not very popular, the Zahiri school of thought. وقال هذه المقالة. Imam Shafi'i, he made this statement. Why? لأن الله بين في هذه السورة أسباب الشقاوة وأسباب السعادة. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made mention in this chapter, Surah Al-Asr. Allah has mentioned أسباب الشقاوة, the reasons for being wretched, the reasons for being unfortunate and unhappy. وأسباب السعادة, And likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the means of attaining success, the means of attaining happiness. Again, still on Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i, a brief talk on him, Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i, originally from Quraysh, but they lived in Gaza, the present day Gaza in Palestine. He was born there. His father died when he was young, at the age of 2, and his mom brought him back to Mecca to connect with his ancestry, because his lineage traces back to the lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he is connected to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through Abdul Manaf, through Abdul Muttalib. So Imam Shafi'i is from the Hashemites and is one of the households of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He grew up in a very noble background and as a poor person. So the combination of nobility and combination of, that humble background with nobility made Imam Shafi'i to understand the reality of life. And he grew up wanting to learn about the religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a very sharp memory. At a tender age, Imam Shafi'i had memorized the entire Quran. He'd memorized many of the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was said that it took him a few days to memorize the Muwatta of Imam Malik, because he studied under the tutorship of Imam Malik bin Anas. His mom was keen, wanting him to be a scholar, and he became a scholar. And he did a lot in the field of fiqh, and is known for his mastery of Arabic language, a poet. Rahimahullah. Now, back to our kitab. فَأَسْبَابُ السَّعَادَةِ, the means of attaining success, the means of attaining happiness. Remember, we're discussing Surah Al-Asr. Let me run briefly through the tafsir of Surah Al-Asr in the tafsir of Ibn Kathir. He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Wal Asri, Allah took an oath by the time. الزمان الذي يقع فيه حركات بني آدم من خير وشر. Imam Ibn Kathir, he said, الزمان, time, on which or wherein the activities of the son of Adam happens. Min khairin wa sharrin, the good of our activities and the evil of our activities all happen within the vicissitude of time. Then he says, فَأَقْسَمَ تَعَالَى بِذَلِكَ عَلَىٰ أَنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took an oath with time that verily man is in loss. أي في خسارة وهلاك. Man is in loss and in destruction. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, except those who believe and act righteousness. فَاسْتَثْنَى من جنس الإنسان عن الخسران الذين آمنوا بقلوبهم وعملوا الصالحات بجوارحهم. Imam Ibn Kathir, he said, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made an exception from amongst mankind, those that are not included in this category of loss. Whom? الذين آمنوا بقلوبهم, those that believe in their hearts. They believe with their hearts. Yani they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their heart and all that it entails to be a believer. وَعَمَلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and they do righteous deeds بِجَوَارِحِهِمْ, with their body parts. They believe with their hearts and they act righteousness with their body parts. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and they recommend each other to the truth. Yani al-Quran, wal-Iman, wal-Tawheed, وَهُوَ أَدَاءُ الطَّاعَاتِ, and that is you doing all the things that Allah has asked you to do. You obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and living all muharramat. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and they recommend each other to patience. What is this patience? عَلَى الْمَصَائِبِ وَالْأَقْدَارِ, patience over the calamities and the decrees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the coronavirus that has plagued the entire world today. We have to be patient. وَأَذَى, and the harm that comes your way from those يعني ممن يأمرونه بالمعروف, from those whom he enjoins to do good, وينهونه عن المنكر, and those whom he prohibits from doing evil. They harm him. So patience. And this is in brief Surah Al-Asr. So we're discussing Surah Al-Asr. So what Imam Shafi'i is saying is that in this short surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made mention of the means of salvation and also the reasons for wretchedness and being unhappy and being unfortunate. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Al-Hud, Quran chapter 11 verse 105, referencing these two words, as-sa'ada wa shaqawa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَوْمَ يَأْتِي لَا تَكَلَّمُ نَفْسٌ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ فَمِنْهُمْ شَقِيٌّ وَسَعِيدٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَوْمَ يَأْتِي لَا تَكَلَّمُ نَفْسٌ, on the day when it comes, the punishment of Allah, يوم القيامة, no person shall speak إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ, except by his leave, by the leave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody shall speak except by the permission of Allah, إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. Then Allah says, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, you have two categories of people. فَمِنْهُمْ شَقِيٌّ وَسَعِيدٌ. Some among them will be shaqiyun, wretched, and others will be blessed. Alaysa kadhalik. So you have two categories of people. Those that will be wretched and those that will be fortunate. The happy ones and the unhappy ones. So Surah Al-Asr is a specimen of comprehensiveness and brevity, telling us, like Al-Amr bin Al-As, when Musallamat al-Kadhab asked him regarding what was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he recited to him Surah Al-Asr as was narrated by Ibn Kathir under this Tafseer, or under his Tafseer of Surah Al-Asr. So he says it's a specimen of brevity, concise nature, and elegance. That is Surah Al-Asr, perhaps the shortest surah in the glorious Quran. Yet it contains all you need to attain salvation, to be happy in this world and the hereafter. And also it has warned you against all it takes to be from amongst the wretched ones and the unfortunate ones. I hope I'm making sense here. So then Allah tells us amongst, before we go to the means of attaining success and the reasons for being wretched, we have to understand the two categories of people. Those that will attain success and those that will be wretched, and what will be their fate on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Then in the same chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ شَقُوا فَفِي النَّارِ لَهُمْ فِيهَا زَفِيرٌ وَشَهِيقٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ شَقُوا, again, the same chapter. As for those who are wretched, it's not in our book, I just reference it for the students so that you can go back to Surah Al-Hud, Quran chapter 11. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ شَقُوا, as for those who are wretched, فَفِي النَّارِ, they will be in the fire. لَهُمْ فِيهَا زَفِيرٌ وَشَهِيقٌ. They will be sighing, you know, sigh, when you say someone sighs with relief. So they will be sighing, zafirun wa shahiqun, in high and low tune. Like Ibn Abbas, he says, as-sawtu shadid, that is zafirun, when someone is saying, you know, making that sound. That is the sound that they're going to be making in hellfire. May Allah save us. These are going to be the wretched ones. So he said, Zafirun as-sawtu shadid, Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, may Allah be pleased with him and his father. And he said what? Ash-shahiq, shahiqun is what? As-sawtu da'if, a weak, a low tune. Yani when they said, you know, and they, like Abu al-Aliya, he said, The other one, fil halq, is on the sound that they make on their throats. And the other one, fil sadr, Abul Aliya, he said, Zafirun wa shahiqun. And Imam al-Tabari, Abu Ja'far ibn Jarir al-Tabari, in his Tafseer, he made mention that this is going to be the braying of a donkey, the way the donkey brays. And that is how the unfortunate, the wretched people are going to be in hellfire. They're going to be braying like the donkey. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us. But وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ سُعِدُوا, I think this is the interesting part, isn't it? وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ سُعِدُوا, as for the fortunate ones, those that actually obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who are blessed, فَفِي الْجَنَّةِ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا, they will be in paradise to abide therein. They will be in paradise to abide therein. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst these people. Now we have understood what it means to be fortunate, and we have understood what it means to be unfortunate in the light of Quran. Surah Al-Hud, Quran chapter 11, verse 105 and downwards. So now, let us go back to Surah Al-Asr that we're discussing. فَأَسْبَابُ السَّعَادَةِ, the means of attaining success and to be happy and to attain salvation, أن يتصف الإنسان بهذه الصفات الأربعة. أن يتصف الإنسان بهذه الصفات الأربعة. That a man should be what? A man should have these four attributes. If you want to be successful in life and in the hereafter, if you want to be from amongst the fortunate ones, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ سُعِدُوا فَفِي الْجَنَّةِ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا مَا دَامَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ. The scholars have explained this, like Imam Qatada and the likes of them. It's talking about the samawat of heavens, and it doesn't mean, and the ard of, it doesn't mean that it's going to end. No, Jannah is going to be there perpetually. Alaysa kadhalik. So if you want to be from amongst these people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Khalidina fiha, they're going to abide therein in paradise, then Surah Al-Asr, as Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab has referenced here, and Imam Shafi'i has given us a comprehensive, description of what Surah Al-Asr is. And we say it contains all the means of being successful, and it also tells us what it entails to be wretched. So, أَيَّتَّصِفَ الْإِنسَانُ بِهَذِهِ الصِّفَاتِ الْأَرْبَعَةِ, that man should have these four attributes if you want to be from amongst the happy people and the fortunate ones. What are these four things that are enshrined in Surah Al-Asr? Al-ilmu. The first thing is knowledge. وَمَعْرِفَةُ اللَّهِ وَمَعْرِفَةُ دِينِهِ وَمَعْرِفَةُ نَبِيهِ وَمَعْرِفَةُ اللَّهِ وَمَعْرِفَةُ الدِّينِ الْإِسْلَامِ بِالْعَدِلَّةِ. Do you understand? That is knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing His Prophet, knowing the religion of Islam, bil-adillah, with evidence. Al-ilmu, that is knowledge. If you want to be successful, everything can be taken away from you. Power can be snatched away from you. Wealth can be snatched away from you. Health can be snatched away from you. But knowledge, have you ever seen someone that say he was once knowledgeable? No. But he was once rich. He was once powerful. He was once healthy. But have you ever had? So they can take anything away from you but not knowledge. Which means the greatest possession of man is knowledge. And the highest form of knowledge and the most beneficial type of knowledge is the knowledge of the Sharia, knowing who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Alaysa kadhalik. Naam. Wala amalu, the second thing. Al-ilmu is the first thing. We said you have to have four attributes before you can be from amongst the successful ones, as enshrined in Surah Al-Asr. The first one is al-ilmu, knowledge. The second one is al-amalu, wal-amal, that is action. It is not enough to have knowledge. That knowledge necessitates action. So you have to act upon your knowledge before it can be termed a beneficial knowledge. Wa-da'wa, wa-da'wa. It is not enough for you to acquire knowledge, to act on that knowledge without calling others onto that beauty. So It is knowledge when you acquire it legitimately and you act upon it, and then you extend that goodwill to other people by teaching them the beauty of the knowledge of land. Then the fourth one is what? وَالصَّبْرُ عَلَى الْأَذَى فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And patience over the harm that will come your way in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the four things. Once you have these four attributes, then you are successful. Be rest assured that you are successful. Knowledge, action, calling others onto that knowledge and action, then having patience over the harm that comes your way, and also being patient over the calamities and also the aqdar, the decrees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then be sure that you are amongst the successful ones. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us with these beautiful attributes. فقامت الحجة من الله على خلقه بهذه السورة. بهذه السورة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thus has established evidence على خلقه, upon his creations, بهذه السورة, with this chapter. Evidence. You know, it's one thing that, well, I'm not aware, you know, when someone says social distance as you are maintaining, we are just three in this studio, isn't it? So social distance, you are about 3 meters away from me. The other guy is also about 2.5 meters away from you and 3 meters away from me approximately. Now, for someone to say, well, I don't even know that there is coronavirus, and is claiming ignorance and is, you know, going to a gathering of 50, 100 people, you know, and it's one thing if you are ignorant of something. Do you understand? There is a curfew, for example, and you don't know, and you claim ignorance of it. That is excusable. But you have evidence and you are well informed about a thing, then you break the curfew and the government officials arrest you. We say, what? You are culpable. You are no longer excusable. Now you are culpable. Am I making sense? So the same way, it is one thing to claim that, well, we don't have knowledge about who Allah is. We don't know who Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. We don't know nothing about Islam. We don't know what it entails to be successful in the hereafter. We don't know what path to take to attain salvation. It's one thing to lay ignorance to that. If the knowledge hasn't reached you, then we say it's excusable, but you have to seek for knowledge. But it's another thing, if you have knowledge and now you refuse to act upon that knowledge, then you are culpable, you are no longer excusable, and that is devilish. So now Allah, but thus Allah has established evidence. Ala khalqihi, this is an evidence from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala khalqihi, upon his creations, bihadhi surah, with this verse, this chapter. Inna Allah subhanahu yaqulu lahum. Allah, all perfections are his. Subhanahu, Allah is free from imperfections. Subhanahu yaqulu lahum, Allah is saying to them, Inni qad bayyantu lakum asbab as-sa'adah fi hadhihi as-surah al-qasira al-mukhtasara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Inni qad bayyantu, verily I have explained to you, lakum, yani ya ma'ashar bani Adam, O you the children of Adam, qad bayyantu lakum, I've explained to you asbab as-sa'ada, the means of attaining success, fi hadhihi as-surah al-qasira al-mukhtasara, in this verse, al-qasira, very short, al-mukhtasara, concise. وَالْقُرْآنُ كُلُّهُ وَصَّنَّاهُمَا تَفَاصِيلُ لِهَذِهِ الْمَسَائِلُ الْأَرْبَعَةِ. And the entirety of Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, tafasil, yani they are detailing, they are explanation, they offer explanations and detail لهذه المسائل الأربعة, to all these four matters, these four issues. Al-ilmu, Quran is talking about knowledge, and we know what that knowledge is. Al-ilmu wal-amal, inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. والدعوة ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة والصبر وتواصوا بالصبر. أليس كذلك؟ 4 things. وما نتنزل إلا بأمر ربك له ما بين أيدينا وما خلفنا وما بين ذلك وما كان ربك نسيا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما فاعبده واصطبر لعبادتي. Allah is the Lord of the heavens and earth and all that is in between them. فاعبده, worship Him and be patient in your worship of Allah. So patience, Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam هما تفاصيل لهذه المسائل الأربعة. لكن هذه السورة بيّنت أسباب السعادة مجملة. However, Surah Al-Asr has explained to us the means of attaining success and salvation mujmala in its general terms, in its general perspective, not in detailed form. Am I communicating? It has explained it to us generally in general terms. فقامت بها الحجة على الخلق. Hence, by the virtue of this Surah Al-Asr and what it entails of its concise nature and brevity and comprehensiveness, فقامت بها الحجة. Then for it, evidence has been established على الخلق, upon the creation. I'm one of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are one of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every one of us and everything we see around us is indeed a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is an evidence that has been established upon us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وبقية نصوص القرآن والسنة مفصلة ومبينة لهذه المسائل الأربعة. And the remainder of the nusus, of the verses of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mufassila wa mubayyina, they are detailing and offering more explanations لهذه المسائل الأربعة, to these 4 issues: العلم والعمل والدعوة والصبر على الأذى في سبيل الله تعالى. Am I making sense? وليس معنى كلام الشافعي أن هذه السورة تكفي الناس. Well, don't misunderstand what Imam Shafi'i said. What did Imam Shafi'i say? Let's go back to what he said. Imam Shafi'i said what? Imam Shafi'i, he said what? I want to take us back to what Imam Shafi'i said. He says, لو ما أنزل الله حجة على خلقه إلا هذه السورة لكفتهم. Had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not revealed any evidence upon His creations, إلا هذه السورة, except this surah, this chapter, Surah Al-Asr, لكفتهم, it would have sufficed them. So let us understand this statement of Imam Shafi'i, because some might understand it to be that Imam Shafi'i is saying that Surah Al-Asr is enough. We don't need Surah Al-Fatiha. We don't need Surah Al-Baqarah. We don't need Surah Al-Imran. We don't need Surah Al-Nisa. We don't need Ma'idah. We don't need An'am. We don't need Al-Araf. We don't need Anfal. We don't need Tawbah. No, that is not what Imam Shafi'i meant by his statement. Let us understand the statement of Imam Shafi'i. وَلَيْسَ مَعْنَا كَلَامُ الشَّافِعِي أَنَّ هَذِهِ السُّورَةِ تَكْفِي النَّاسِ. It doesn't mean, Imam Shafi'i, the meaning of the statement of Imam Shafi'i does not point to the understanding that this surah is sufficient. It suffices. It suffices the entire humanity. لَوْ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ غَيْرَهَا, and Allah not revealed any chapter except Surah Al-Asr. This is not what Imam Shafi'i meant. لكنها, however, this surah أقامت الحجة عليهم, this surah has established evidence upon them. لأن الله, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, certainly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بين فيها, Allah has explained in this surah, Surah Al-Asr, أسباب السعادة وأسباب الشقاوة. The means of attaining success and being happy and being fortunate, and the reasons and the means of becoming wretched and unfortunate. فلا أحد يوم القيامة يقول, such that there should be no single person on Yawm al-Qiyamah that will say, أنا لا أعرف أسباب السعادة. Standing in the field of Hashr on Yawm al-Qiyamah saying, أنا لا أعرف أسباب السعادة. I do not know, or I did not know the means of attaining success. So today, why should I be from amongst the unfortunate ones when no evidence has ever reached me regarding how to be successful and how to attain salvation? Lest you come on Yawm al-Qiyamah trying to, give this excuse. In Surah Al-Qiyamah, ironically, or interestingly, in Surah Al-Qiyamah, Quran chapter 75, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَذِيرًا. Man by himself knows what he has done. Man knows the sins he has committed, even though he will want to proffer excuses for the sins he has committed. لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة أيحسب الإنسان ألا نجمع عظاما بلا قادرين على أن نسوي بنانا بل يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه يسأل أيان يوم القيامة فإذا برق البصر وخسف القمر وجمع الشمس والقمر يقول الإنسان يومئذ أين المفر كلا لا وذر إلى ربك يومئذ المستقر ينبأ الإنسان يومئذ بما قدم وآخر بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرا ولو ألقى معاذيرا. Man will want to provide excuses for the sins he has committed. Lest someone should come on Yawm al-Qiyamah and say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أنا لا أعرف أسباب السعادة. Wallahi, I did not know the means of attaining salvation. ولا أعرف أسباب الشقاوة. Neither did I know the things that lead to wretchedness. I was just in the world. But again, in Surah Al-Qiyamah, again, in the last page of it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانِ أَن يُتْرَكَ سُدًى أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانِ أو أَيَحْسِبُ الْإِنسَانِ أَن يُتْرَكَ سُدًى في بعض القراءة. Do man think that you will be left suda, unattended, without do's and don'ts? So asbab al-sa'ada is what? The do's and don'ts. Don't do this because it's going to lead you to what? To become from the amongst the unfortunate and the wretched ones. Do this. If you do it, it's going to lead you to what? To be from amongst the people that will attain salvation. So let someone comes on Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, أنا لا أعرف أسباب السعادة ولا أعرف أسباب الشقاوة وهو يقرأ هذه السورة while he is reciting this surah مختصرة this surah that is concise, al-wajiza, comprehensive, very short, like Ibn Kathir said, a comprehensive a demonstration of brevity. Now, we all now understand that on Yawm al-Qiyamah, none of us will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to proffer any excuse for not obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least, even this dars is an evidence. It's an evidence for everyone that is watching us, for me that is teaching, for the camera guys, 2 of you that are recording. It's an evidence. None of us will meet Allah now with any excuse after having known that Quran contains all of these things. That Surah Al-Asr is there to give us, a very short manual on how to become successful and how to avoid being from amongst the wretched ones. I hope this is now understood. So you now go back to the Quran and now look for al-ilm, al-amal, when you seek for knowledge from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then seek to act upon it, then call people onto that, then be patient over that which is going to come your way of harm when you call people onto this beautiful, magnificent fold of Al-Islam. Alaysa kadhalik. So you have this now. Okay, let us go to the next. Qawluhu al-Bukhari. Now, after referencing Imam Shafi'i, he referenced Imam Shafi'i, Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab. He referenced Rahmatullah alayh. He referenced Imam Shafi'i, Rahimahullah. He referenced him to buttress his point of him stating that 4 things are compulsory upon us. As long as you are a Muslim and you are matured and you are answerable, then these 4 things are compulsory on you. Then he made mention of knowledge. He defined what that knowledge is. He made mention of acting upon that knowledge. He made mention of calling people onto knowledge and action. Then he made mention of patience. So he's now telling you that I did not drink tea and came up with it. No. I'm telling you that these 4 things that I made mention of, they're actually in the Quran. And he now reference Surah Al-Asr. That I'm making this statement because of what I did of what? Istinbat, extraction from the Quran. And I found in Surah Al-Asr these 4 things. Then to buttress his point further, he now referenced Imam Shafi'i. Now to further buttress his point of starting with knowledge before action, he's now bringing Imam Bukhari to further buttress his point that even Imam Bukhari that came before me understood this point I'm trying to make. So let us knock at the doors of Imam Bukhari. Let us knock at the doors of his most celebrated book, Sahih Bukhari. Who is Imam al-Bukhari? Huwa al-Imam Muhammad bin Ismail bin Ibrahim al-Bukhari in short form. Because we are not doing Sirah here. We would have taken Sirah Alam al-Nubala of Hafiz Shamsuddin al-Dhahabi to understand more about him. But we are just giving us a concise, introduction to who Imam Bukhari is. Is Muhammad bin Ismail. So you only know Imam Bukhari, but his name is Muhammad bin Ismail bin Ibrahim al-Bukhari. Nisbatan ila Bukhara. Nisbatan ila Bukhara. You only know Bukhari. The Nigerian man will say Buhari, but it is Bukhari. So the president can change his name to Bukhari. So it's Bukhari. Alaysa kadhalik. Nisbatan ila Bukhara. It's an attribute. It's to Bukhara, the name of a town. So it's from Bukhara. Do you understand? Like you have Andalusi from Andalusia. Do you understand? Misri from Misra. Al-Qurashi from Quraysh. Alaysa kadhalik. So you have Imam al-Bukhari from Bukhara. Nisbatan ila Bukhara. Baldatan fil Mashriq. A town in the east. Is a town in the east. Alaysa kadhalik. Bukhara is a town in the east. Imam Ahl al-Hadith is the Imam. Is the Imam, the leader of the people of Hadith. Wajabal al-Hifz is a mountain of, it's a mountain of what? It's a custodian of knowledge. That's memory. Memorized knowledge, isn't it? Imam Bukhari, a custodian of knowledge. Sahibu Sahih, the author of Sahih Bukhari. Alladhi huwa asahhu al-kutub ba'da kitab Allah. What is Sahih Bukhari? Sahih al-Bukhari is the most authentic book. Asahul kutub ba'da kitabillah is the most authentic book after the book of Allah, after Quran. It is the most authentic book in the world of Muslims. The Shiites do not believe in this. The Shiites do not believe in this. They don't believe in your Sahih Bukhari. They don't believe in your Sahih Bukhari. So we are lucky not to be from amongst them. We say Alhamdulillah. May Allah guide them and may Allah continue to keep us firm on His path. So Sahih Bukhari, Asahul Kutub is the most authentic book ba'da kitabillah, after the book of Allah, Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Qawluhu, the statement of Imam Al-Bukhari, he says, Al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal. Al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal. Imam Al-Bukhari, in Sahih Al-Bukhari, he said he has a chapter. And he opened the chapter. The introduction of the chapter has what? Babu. A chapter. Al-ilmu, knowledge. Qabla al-amal. Qabla al-qawli wal-amal. Knowledge before speech and action. Don't speak without knowledge. Don't act without knowledge. Simply put. Imam Bukhari has this in Sahih Bukhari. لأن العمل, now this is the explanation of it now. Why did Imam Bukhari said you should seek for knowledge before action, before speaking? لأن العمل لا ينفع إلا إذا كان مبنيا على علم. Because action لا ينفع does not benefit. No action is beneficial إلا إذا كان مبنيا على علم, except if it was built upon knowledge. So if I take my right hand now and lift this cup up and say Bismillah, 1, 2, 3, sipping 3 times, you say you are following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So a prior knowledge that influenced a particular action. So you are not drinking with your right hand and saying Bismillah and having sip 3 times until you have learned that this is from amongst the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Am I communicating? So that is, you don't say, well, if you are entering the masjid, you enter with your right foot. That is me speaking to you. But why should I speak if I don't have knowledge therein? So I back it up. I say, well, that is from amongst the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when I say no, don't do this, if it's related to the religion, why shouldn't I do that? Then you should be able to tell me the reason why I shouldn't do what you asked me not to do. Do this. Why should I do what you are asking me to do? Then you should be able to give me evidence from Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that is pointing towards that particular action. So I hope I'm making sense. So you don't say, neither do you do without prior knowledge. So knowledge comes before speech and action. So whoever speaks without knowledge is going to lead himself and others to destruction. Whoever acts without knowledge is going to lead himself and others to destruction. But whoever speaks and acts after having acquired legitimate and authentic knowledge will surely be guided and will be a source of guidance to others. And that is why the notion of you have to seek for knowledge before doing anything cannot be overemphasized. It is very important and a key and pertinent thing in the life of the believers. أما العمل المبني على جهل فإنه لا ينفع صاحبه بل يكون وبالا وضلالا عليه. As for an action that is built upon ignorance, فإنه لا ينفع صاحبه, wallahi, it will not benefit the doer of that action. Whoever does an act without knowledge will not benefit from it. So why do it? وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Furqan, Quran chapter 25. And we will turn to the deeds that they have done and we will turn it into a scattered dust. They will not be able to benefit a naught from the deed that they have advanced. وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. And they are hopeful that they have done something and Allah is going to reward them. But Allah said, وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. So, action, knowledge before action. Otherwise, if you act without knowledge, لا ينفع صاحبه, it will not benefit the doer of the action. بل يكون وبالا وضلالا عليه يوم القيامة. It's going to be a misguidance for him. He is not going to benefit on يوم القيامة. He has wasted his time. He's not going to benefit from it on يوم القيامة. فلا بد أن يقدم تعلم العلم قبل العمل. It is therefore a necessity. فلا بد. It is therefore a must. It is therefore a must أن يقدم التعلم العلم قبل العمل, that you first of all advance the seeking of knowledge first. You start with seeking of knowledge before what? Before action. قوله, and a statement. والدليل, Imam Shafi'i say, Imam Bukhari is now saying, even Imam Bukhari in Sahih al-Bukhari, when he says al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal, he actually came with an evidence from the Quran. You can see this is the sunnah of all the scholars of the deen. You can't speak on behalf of Islam without referencing Quran or the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If the most knowledgeable ones amongst us have that as the path, who are we not to follow that path? If Imam Bukhari will say a thing and now tie it down to a verse from the Quran, and Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab, Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab, rahmatullah alayhi, will say a thing and tie it down to the Quran, then who am I not to tie my statements that I say on behalf of Islam to Quran and Sunnah? We have no any excuse not to reference Quran and Sunnah when we preach the words of Allah, because that is the source of knowledge. So Imam Bukhari is telling you the reason why he began his chapter, and he named his chapter with that caption is what? أي على هذه الترجمة قوله تعالى فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله واستغفر لذنبك. Imam Bukhari, the reason as to why he says al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal is because Allah says, look at it. Imam Bukhari, the chapter was influenced because of the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Bukhari, from this chapter you understand that Imam al-Bukhari is a faqih. He has the knowledge of fiqh. He has understanding, because it is a demonstration of fiqh that he is now having a chapter named so, and now telling you that I actually extracted this from the words of Allah. What? Surah Al-Muhammad, verse 19. Allah says, fa'alam, know. Therefore, know. Annahu, that is know, knowledge, isn't it? Annahu, verily he, la ilaha illahu, there is no deity worthy of being worshipped except illallah, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wastaghfir li dhanbik, and seek forgiveness for your sins. Haythu bada'a bil ilm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started with knowledge. Bada'a bil ilm. Fa'alam. Allah started with knowledge. Wa qawluhu ta'ala wastaghfir. Action, isn't it? Fa'alam. No. Allah started with knowledge. Wastaghfir li dhanbik. That is action. هذا هو العمل. This is action. فبدأ سبحانه بالعلم قبل العمل. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all perfections are His and is free from all imperfections. He started with knowledge, bil ilm, that you should seek for knowledge. قبل العمل, before action. اقرأ. اقرأ, the first Quranic revelation. اقرأ, read. Read. لأن العمل, because action إذا كان على جهل فإنه لا ينفع صاحبه. Wallahi, if it is based on ignorance, the doer of that action will not benefit from the action. فيبدأ الإنسان بالعلم أولا ثم يعمل بما علمه. هذا هو الأساس. Then man should start with what? First of all, start with knowledge. ثم يعمل بما علمه. Then he should act upon that which he has learned. هذا هو الأساس. This is the foundation. This is the fundamental. I think inshallah we're going to stop here. Whatever we have said that is consistent with the truth, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us, all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring an end to this pandemic situation that the entire world found itself in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it a means for us to return back to Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enrich us with beneficial knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enrich us with beneficial sustenance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and the entire Muslim world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lift this up from us. May it not spread as it has spread in other parts of the world. And where it has spread, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curtail it and put an end for it. Ya Allah, we seek for your forgiveness. We've repented. And inshallah, we hope that every other Muslim and even the non-Muslims alike will repent back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us see this as a blessing from Allah for us. If we had died without having the opportunity to repent, what would have been our end? Would have been from amongst the wretched ones. Now that we're witnessing this pandemic situation, it's actually a blessing for us to go back to the drawing board, to sit down, to re-strategize, to have a rearrangement of our thought pattern, to understand the reason why we're here on the face of earth. We're actually not here to have fun, to joke around. We're here for something bigger than that. Life is too short to be wasted in frivolities. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.